it's Mrs. Graybill. I really miss you all, but I'm also excited to tell you what I've been learning about while I'm at home. Because we've been spending so much time at home, sometimes with our families, I've been thinking a lot about family. In fact, the other day I was looking at some pictures of my family, and it made me wonder, why do families look alike? Not every family looks alike, but a lot of families do. I wonder what the reason is. So, this week I did some research to find out what makes families look the same. Do you have people in your family that you look like too? Well, today we're going to find out why. I can't wait to show you what I found out. Let's get started. We're learning all about traits because traits are what makes families look alike. At the end, I'll even have a special scavenger hunt for you. A trait is something you can observe. It's the way that something looks or acts. All animals and humans have traits. Some have the same traits and some have different traits. Our traits are what make us look the same or different. Let's look at an example. Let's start with this picture of a tiger. What traits does this tiger have? Remember, a trait is anything I can observe about the tiger, the way that he looks or acts. If I look at this tiger, I can observe some of his traits. I can see that he has the trait of orange fur. He has the trait of black stripes. He has a tail, and he has yellow eyes. Can you observe any other traits about the tiger? Let's try another example. What traits do you notice about this giraffe? Remember to look carefully at the picture to see what you can observe about how the giraffe looks or acts. Think about as many traits for this giraffe as you can. When you know some traits, say them out loud. What traits did you think of? Maybe you thought of traits like this: tall, tan fur, skin, brown spots, long neck, 4 legs, brown eyes, tail, 2 ears, or 2 horns. These are all traits that we can observe about how the giraffe looks. Now let's compare. Here I have a picture of the tiger and a picture of the giraffe. What are some traits that the tiger and the giraffe have that are the same? Remember to look closely at the pictures and observe what traits are the same. When you know one, say it out loud. What traits did you think of? Maybe you said something like they both have 4 legs. They both have 2 eyes. They both have 2 ears, and they both have a tail. Now let's think about what traits are different. What traits does the tiger have that's different than the giraffe? Look closely at the pictures. When you think of them, say one out loud. What traits did you observe? Maybe you said the giraffe is taller. Maybe you said the giraffe has spots while the tiger has stripes. These are both traits that are different between the giraffe and the tiger. Just like animals, humans have traits that we can observe too. Humans have some traits that are the same and some that are different. For example, most humans have hair, but some humans have brown hair, some have blonde hair, some have red hair. Even though we all have the trait of hair, we might have a different trait for the color of our hair. Here's a picture of me. Let's observe. What traits do I have? Look carefully at the picture and then say as many traits as you can observe out loud. What traits did you observe? Maybe you said something like blonde hair, blue eyes, light skin, or short. I also added 2 other traits about how I act. I know that I'm good at swimming. I know that I'm not fast at running. Those are some traits about how I look and how I act. Now, scientists, I have another question for you. Where did I get these traits from? Tell me your guess of where I got my traits. Good guess. Let me see. Some of these traits I learned when I grew up, like how to swim. But some of these traits I was born with, like my blue eyes. I've always had that trait. So where did it come from? From my parents. We get our traits from our parents. The science word for this is inherit. When we have the same trait as our parent, we say that we inherited that trait from our parents. Say inherit. Good. Here I have a picture of two parents and their children. We can look at what traits the children inherited from their parents. Let's look at this picture of a family. I can see the parents and three children. Let's look at the sister. There's a blue arrow pointing at her. She has the trait of brown hair. Who do you think she inherited the brown hair from? Look carefully at the parents to see who has the same trait as her to figure it out. When you know the answer, you can say it out loud. If you said her father, you are right. She probably inherited her brown hair from her father because he has the same trait for brown hair as her. Are you ready for a real life example? Here's the same picture of me. I have the trait of blue eyes, and here are pictures of my parents. I wrote down some of their traits next to their pictures. Which parent do you think I inherited the trait for blue eyes from? Look carefully at the pictures and the traits I wrote down. When you think you know the answer, you can say it out loud. If you said that I inherited my blue eyes from my mom, you're right. She has the same trait for blue eyes that I have, so I inherited that trait from her. Now it's time for a traits scavenger hunt. First, I'll teach you how to play, and then I'll show you some pictures of my whole family, so we can try it out with my family first. After that, it'll be your turn to try it with your family at home. Step 1, we need to write down our traits. We already used a picture of me to help write down my traits. Some of my traits are blonde hair, blue eyes, light skin, or short. You can use a mirror to help you observe your traits, or you can ask someone in your house to help you. Now it's time for step 2. Compare your traits to other people in your house. Don't forget to bring your list with you to help. I have my list of traits right here with me so that I'm ready to compare. I also have a new picture of my whole family this time, from a time when my sister graduated from high school. We're going to compare my traits not just with my parents, but with my whole family this time to see what traits we have that are the same and what traits are different. One of the first traits I noticed about myself was that I have blonde hair. I noticed that my brother also has blonde hair. And I noticed that my sister also has blonde hair. I noticed that my other sister has brown hair, kind of like my mom. She must have inherited that trait from her. Let's compare one more trait. I noticed that one of the traits I wrote down about myself was that I'm short. And I noticed that everyone in my family is pretty close to the same height. That must be a trait we inherited from our parents because we're all close to the same height. We all have the same trait for height. Finally, it's time for step 3. Talk about your traits. Who has the most traits that are the same as you? Can you tell who you inherited your traits from? When I compared my traits, I think I had the most traits that were the same as my sister. We both have blonde hair, we're both the same height, and I think our faces look the same too. We have a lot of traits that are the same, even though we have some traits that are different. I can also tell that I inherited some traits from my parents. I inherited my height from them, and I inherited my eye color from my mom. Here's all 3 steps on one page so you can see them again. I think this will be a fun scavenger hunt since a lot of us are in our homes with our families right now. But even if you aren't with your family, you can still play this game. You might be surprised how many traits you have that are the same as the people around you. All for today, Kipsters. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope you have fun doing this scavenger hunt with your family and friends at home. If you haven't checked out the other Kale C-Block videos yet, go check them out. Your other teachers have lots of fun, exciting things for you too. I can't wait to see you again next week.